Greetings, I'm Les.
And I'm Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes.
Let's pet dog together because it just looks sleepy and look at the little face.
Oh no, and they have footers.
Toe beans. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be more illustration of toe beans here. I am lacking in my need for toe beans.
Need more beans.
And I had to learn what toe beans were, so if anyone's not familiar with that term, it's just the little bumps, the pads on the bottom of an animal's paw.
Yep.
A lot of people just call them beans.
Uh-huh.
And for me, the
Squeeze
first
the
time I heard
beans.
it was super weird, and I was like, you're what?
Oh my god, it was really funny. My friend actually was super confused, and I was like, no, it's really important. It's real. This is all toe beans matter, okay? Oh my god.
And I was like, my dude, my friend, they're just pads.
And I was
They're
like,
your paw
no.
pads. Those are the baby's soft fingers. And my friend's like, beans.
My friend was like, what are you calling them beans?
All right, so...
Plan to
I'm not going to plan a centerpiece because we literally just, that would be like a screw you to Karen.
It's okay.
We can't build a butterfly thing. We're going to use a centerpiece, which we haven't discussed.
We literally had to walk off screen though and come back. By the way, it was great. Now!
So that's our theoretical walking away to get supplies. What we had to get was our spell components to be able to summon the hatchery. All right,
who's gonna summon the hatchery?
All right, everyone, time to summon the hatchery.
Who's got a character that's got a hatchery that they either need to establish or one that they run? Actually, those are some underrated jobs. Why not be a person who runs a hatchery or runs like a falconry, because you could say that a hatchery is a part of your falconry, or you run a hatchery in relation to like breeding butterflies maybe. Or they're all as part of your spell components. Or they're basically like your messenger pigeons.
I was saying, or if you have chickens, you can have a hatchery.
Oh my god, that would make such an edgy, like super fucking edgy character detail if your character has butterflies or they call upon moths or butterflies, but because they have such short lifespans, nobody can ever track that animal back. They only go one direction and that's it.
And you just hatch them yourself. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be so edgy.
And they also hatch really fabulous, fantastic,
gorgeous
unusual ones because they're like, why not be aesthetic and functional at the same time?
Because that's my whole existence.
Now we can build a hatchery.
Is that where you grow the butterflies? We've already established this. Why?
We already talked about this. And you can't even do these out of order. This is the next step.
Why do we make her also to be such a dingus? We've already discussed that. That's what we said with...
Hi, I'm Karen, and I'm a dingus, but if I was 4 or 5, I'd be great.
I mean, okay, I understand that there's different levels of learning, and I totally get that. I do not want to be ableistic in this way at all.
I don't understand how they're trying to represent her, and if she's not supposed to be... have some kind of delay or something, or some kind of disadvantage just in her education, which with her mother, I would think she wouldn't, because her mother seems very thorough. And I'm not saying that, yes, all Asians are going to teach their children completely.
No, we're just talking about her in references herself.
Her mother seems very organized. She has displayed herself to be that way, and that she cares very deeply about her child's experience. I would think education would be part of that, especially since she has a degree in something and thereby is more connected to education than someone who wouldn't.
And I don't know, maybe it is being kind of ableistic of me, but I am honestly confused. But I also feel like in some ways, based off of the exposure that I have ever had to media, guys, which has been limited in that way of going, I haven't run across much inclusive, basically, media, where they're going to talk about individuals who are differently abled or at different developmental stages in their lives or whatever else, and not everybody is the same at all. Some people basically are literally, what they will be like, oh, you're at such a young age, but you're so good at all these other things, we don't understand what's going on. You could be basically some form of autistic.
Prodigies have a really hard time, actually, in any way.
Right? But I'm just I don't understand it, because based off of the media stereotype that I am used to, and that people still seem to be operating from, for what I know of media, for the years that I have spent engaging in media, she seems like a badly written child character. Not a child character that's being written as autistic or on the spectrum in any way, shape, or form, or has Asperger's.
Educationally disadvantaged or delayed, anything. It just seems like she's
It just seems like poor writing.
How do you think it should look? Okay, so are we going to listen to her describe how she thinks it should look? And then
is it going to be like badass as hell?
Are we going to, show her pictures? That's cute.
That's so pretty.
That's kind of,
also,
God,
how is this Karen's style?
Those cocoons are as big as Lily's head.
Holy shit. Also, though, how is this Karen's style?
It's not her style, it's how you think it should look. Okay,
but that's the thing, how do you think it should look? Karen's style, I think, would permeate part of her experience.
I would think so.
But, that's what I'm not understanding. I'm going, why is
Also, if this opens for the top, Lily, how are you going to get to the top?
No shit.
That one you could reach
Also
better.
not big enough, I feel like.
Well, if the cocoons are as big as, like almost as big as your head, then you're going to have a hard time fitting those butterflies in there because they unroll a lot.
They do.
I like this
I'm
one.
also
the
like,
rainbow sort of sheen and shine to it is pretty good.
I like it this way.
Also, we just built a metal box. Like, isn't that Luke's territory?
Yeah.
Because we couldn't build
Maybe-
a gazebo, but we can build a metal
Maybe
butterfly
we
box.
used, okay, this is going to sound weird, but maybe we used Karen as a component to our spell.
All right.
Because her
done.
dad gives us a tie, like her tie to her dad gives us that experience from, metalworking.
Because that's part of who she is.
Uh-huh.
All right, fabulous. I kind of love
We're
that.
using basically people and their backgrounds and their connections as a way to invoke their skills into our own.
Yep. Okay. Cool. I love it.
So how do you grow the butterflies?
With water.
You're really gonna fucking tell me that? Okay, I understand not everybody knows a lot about animals, but I'm really having a hard time here going, you're really gonna tell me the child doesn't know about chrysalises or cocoons?
But also,
I swear to God.
We just said hatch. Does she think plants hatch? Or that things that grow hatch?
This feels like
Or
poor
is she
writing.
supposed to be making a joke going, yeah, let's just grow the butterflies? And she hasn't been written clever enough, in my opinion, for that to work, of how do you grow the butterflies. Feels weird. You get a bunch of caterpillars, give them a bunch of food, and put them in here so birds can't eat them. Except for in this case, it's full of giant-ass cocoons.
Like, whoa.
Like huge cocoons that are bigger than croissants.
Does she
'cause I didn't drop my croissant.
Croissants!
Then they grow big and strong and butterfly-y.
What?
Want to run to your pet store?
Has
Sells caterpillars? You're kidding. Additionally, money questions. All right, run to the pet store with me and get some caterpillars?
Yes!
Okay, what kind of an exotic pet store sells koi fish, outdoor, like goldfish, and caterpillars? And it's just in your town. Like, this isn't even like a specialty, let's go to, the aviary or the atrium or the butterfly sanctuary or whatever and buy caterpillars. Let's not get them from a dealer. Let's not get them from a specialist in town who does it, because there are some people who do. They
Depending
sell
on where you
butterflies.
live,
There are some people that go, I source the caterpillars, I sell them to people, or I source the chrysalises and I sell them to people. There was one person that during the COVID pandemic got stuck in their house with a ton of huge-ass beautiful moths because they had chrysalises that they were supposed to be delivering somewhere and they couldn't.
Wasn't
because
it like
there
they
was
were
a lockdown
actually
order.
to like a nature preserve or something like
Something
that?
like that.
Yeah.
I would say, and they couldn't, so they now had all those big, beautiful flappy boys in their house.
Yep.
And they kind of put a picture of them on their blog with like 50 of them
They
plastered around their living room.
started hatching.
Going.
Which was really sweet and really excellent, though, too.
But also, it was one of those things of going, you don't just have them in pet stores that I've ever heard of. If you've ever met a pet store that sells caterpillars, I would love to know. That'd be super cool.
Honestly,
I'm for
it would be neat. Like, I'd love to learn something new every day about what different pet stores sell.
Caterpillars. That is a very specific kind of caterpillar. You know what? Forget you. I'm going to ignore Karen and plant the centerpiece because we won't talk about it.
Apparently not.
We just ran everyone over here.
Yep, why
All
not?
right. Okay, let's start with the centerpiece. How are you going to tie this in?
Wait,
If
starting with a centerpiece?
But also, like,
so are we all we are definitely out of order. I don't understand which ones should be done first. I'm still bothered by that. It's fine.
But also, I'm going, how would you have tied this in after the butterfly thing? But this showed up before the butterfly thing? I don't know.
I don't know.
All right.
What's it gonna look like?
Whatever my idea is. You'll have to wait until we're done to see.
But I'll be planning it with you.
Yes.
As always, the child has a point, Lily. Oh,
what?
she's going, but I'm going to be doing it with you, and you're not letting me in on this. So she's literally calling out Lily going, you're deciding, but I'm helping too, so why don't I also get a say?
Right, so why won't I get to know what it looks like? And Lily going, but I'm not that organized. I don't actually know.
I
can't believe Oh,
wow.
Really?
Okay, I know Blaine...
One, I don't think Karen was making fun of you.
No, not at all.
And I believe she was just going, you're not letting me... If I'm working on it too, I should know
I didn't take her at all as trying to make fun of me. She was literally going like, I am talking about division of labor, or at least just wanting to know what the fuck we're doing.
Right, and with
I want to be
Blaine,
involved.
I'm just like,
What?
It didn't sound like he was making fun of you. It sounded like he was basically undermining you. That was just going, you're not thinking of everything you should, Lily. As usual, a kid knows more than you do.
Which would be fine, particularly with an abusive partner.
That sounds very like what she's sort of, the experience she has had of being super insecure, that sounds accurate.
This is ridiculous.
I can't believe 2 children are making fun of me. Additionally, you are now mocking Karen by lumping them together.
Yes.
And that makes me uncomfortable because you've worked really hard to get Karen's approval so you can date her dad.
And also for me, I'm going like, you're really fucking going to be talking about...
Whoa.
Wow.
These are very, like, Wonderland aesthetic.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the nonsense. Let's do it.
Sure, why not? But also, again, like with Blaine. Like, I'm like, you're really going to put your a child and an abuser together?
Yeah, and your ex who you are super uncomfortable with and has hurt you a lot?
Like, granted, I understand sometimes people go, there are some behaviors that some kids do that set off basically my abused response. I don't,
No, it's okay.
don't look at me like...
I was just going to... It happens. It does.
I know, and that's why I said I understand.
It doesn't mean the children are at all aware that anything they're doing could be considered abusive because they are an immature party that likely hasn't ever had communication about that behavior.
Right, or basically what they might be performing is a toxic behavior, not necessarily abusive.
And
They're
it's a behavior,
literally usually parroting the styles of the people around them.
the adults especially around them, and they often have no context for it going, these are the words that people around me use, but they don't use them wrong. You're just going to Karen's writing and stuff.
Right.
They just use them like in the same kind of tone and voice. If you have someone who usually passive aggressively walks into a room, tells you what's wrong with the room, and then just, judges you for it, a child will mimic that behavior without having any idea that it is abusive or toxic. That's just how they hear the person talk.
So why isn't the room clean? And you just kind of go,
What?
whoa, where did you get that?
And then you have to realize that there's someone in your house that says things like that.
Uh-huh.
All right, it's totally butterfly. Butterfly.
It's swirlicious.
Swirlicious. Flapalicious. Beautifly.
It's Beautifly.
Beautifly.
Which is actually a Pokemon, but that's okay. It's a tree.
Okay.
Hi.
Huh? Okay, you lost
They're
both
both
of them.
lost.
They're like what? It's not a tree. It's literally, actually so what we have here, based on my understanding of things and interpreting the graphics, what you have is a vining plant growing up a structure in the center to create a topiary type experience, and then you have a planter up on the top of that that's got the flowers and butterfly topiaries in it. So if you stripped this down, what you would have is basically a vase-shaped structure. Like
I was going to say a
trellis.
bird bath.
I say like a trellis.
Yep.
And then at the top of it, you would have a support, like basically...
Weave, maybe?
Probably you would have a support post in the middle of it that would hold up the bowl on top of it, which would be the planter. And then you have all the vines growing up to the base of the planter, and then you have the stuff growing out of the top of the planter, and you've interlaced a flower section in the middle of that.
Okay, makes sense.
Like, that's what that is. It's a really tall, like, wine glass style planter with a trellis around it. Not a tree.
Nope.
Why are you even here, Blaine? You're not even supposed to be at work today.
Fate brought me here. I really don't like the fact that they're like, yeah, and then, there's this thing. Like, I get people change. But I'm having a problem with basically going, you guys went into that he's just weird and creepy.
I kind of want to know how he knew her aunt's address.
I mean, it's still weird.
How did he get there the first time to harass her?
Oh, God. Did he, run off with some of her mail?
Maybe. Or if her aunt wasn't if she was still involved with her aunt not that long ago, did she ever bring Blaine to meet her aunt? Has he been here before?
I mean...
we know nothing about this and his involvement, but she was engaged for 5 years. If they didn't have a whirlwind romance, they've been together for 6 or 7 kind of thing. Going, has he ever met her aunt and been to this property before?
I honestly, also though, this is just morbid curiosity on my part. I wonder how many people on the writing team and the development team, some of this are like their personal stories.
Oh, that they came up with. I had this thing happen to me this one time.
Oh, that would be wild, yeah. Or
right
I knew somebody, I know, because sometimes that's...
Picking pieces from real life. Yeah, okay. Fate brought me here. All right.
Fate brought me here. To be with you once more. Wait, what?
Except for you weren't on with being with us. You were just like...
You're like, I just need a place to stay.
And you haven't talked about the segue at all, which is fine. We don't know your personality. But...
You're so weird.
Yep. Sometimes kids, I've only ever seen fictional kids go, weird makes you amazing. Right? Weird makes you fascinating. And I've seen it in movies all the time and in books and stories and things where, so many examples of the weird one, they're like, they're so cool, they're so weird.
Yeah,
and
no, that's...
Where does that come from?
I've seen most of the time, most kids tend to take weird as a negative thing.
I'm uncomfortable with you, you're not predictable, I don't know what you're capable of.
Uh-huh.
All right, weird, here we go.
All right, Mr. Weird.
Right, now plant even flowers.
Mr. Wild.
Even flowers? Plant even flowers.
I think it's supposed to be plant even more flowers, but that is a hilarious error. Keep going.
Uneven flowers. I want to plant uneven flowers.
I want to plant odd flowers,
asymmetrical flowers.
Odd flowers.
I I can kind of faintly see what this used to look like. Wait, what used to look like? That's a lot of flowers to plant. You mean this one circle, what it used to look like?
You've planted so much more?
You have planted so many things?
I feel like we've been in an area where we've planted just specifically flowers that have been more than this, but maybe No,
I mean,
and the monument garden basically was all
the earth was similar size to this if you'd have flattened it out. I would say, but and also if you cut it and made it into a donut, it would be about the same size, I would think.
I think so.
I say, so it's not that different. Plus, we've done huge borders of flowers before, which is a lot of flowers.
I'm like, I don't I'll help.
That's cool. Glad you'll help.
I'll help too.
You help. Please don't. The last time you met one of my plants, you trampled it. Did he just stand and watch for the last round?
It attacked me. No, I don't.
You don't know how to wrangle plants. Come on, Karen. You can pick the colors too. So we're leaving you here, and we're driving off to the nursery, and we're buying the flowers that we pick out by ourselves, and you're not helping. Is that what she's saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Except we just have them. It's okay.
Except for, no, this is going to be in sections. Okay, those are not filled in very well.
Nope. I'm also like, what happened to all the other green for all the other plants?
Sure, this is fine. I don't know. It's a little wild.
Sure.
He helped anyway.
Now this part looks good, and everything else looks terrible.
So real.
So
very real.
Critical. I see.
Blaine.
What? I said it looks good.
It's true. In fact, some people work that way. They're like, but everything else does look like shit. You're going to argue that it all looks good? You're about to change it all anyway. I just said it in different words. What's your problem? It's true.
I wonder... excuse me. I wonder if it's actually the work in progress argument.
Plant odd flowers? Plant even flowers? Plant odd flowers?
Oh my fucking god, they are going to do it. Okay, so hang on. No, but I really do wonder if it is literally that thing of them going like, but I'm not... The artist going, please, I'm fucking not done yet. Well, that looks great, but this other bit looks terrible, and this doesn't fit. I'm not done with it yet, you asshole!
I can see that one. But I can also see I've walked into a bedroom, and the bed is made. It's the only clean, nice thing. And they go, wow, the bed looks great. Everything else looks like shit, but the bed looks great. And you're going, yeah, I know it looks like shit. And they're like, yeah, so do I. That's what I said. They're like, I'm just joining you in your experience. But it depends on how you take it.
Yes, and it also depends on if you're like, I'm going to get to that next. Thanks for trying to kick my feet out from underneath me. I appreciate it.
Odd flowers. The alternating flowers?
Why do we need alternating flowers?
Again, we should have been telling
Are these actually good then flower? Good, I say,
are these
for butterfly flowers?
Are these deliberately butterfly flowers for a butterfly flower garden? Because there are specific varieties that butterflies like and specific varieties of butterflies that like them.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
that's
a good question.
Oh my god! Why wouldn't you explain this beforehand? I don't.
There's 8 of each of them, so it's not even and odd.
2, 4, 6, 8. Oh god, there is 8.
It's not even and odd.
There's
the ones going between the ones we already planted.
Oh, okay. Can I pick the color again?
Oh, yeah, because we didn't buy 2 sets of flowers when, we drove away the first time, so we're going to drive back to the nursery. Bye, Blaine!
So much gas.
Sure. That's fine.
Oh, Blaine.
He'll just stay here. It's fine.
Whoa.
This is a very different feel than that first round. That's not even flowers, my dude.
Also, again, assuming like some butterflies or some moths really do still eat.
This is fine.
Things.
Yeah, some don't eat actually.
Some of them don't have faces to eat anything with. That's why they die. In 24 hours, actually. So, or at least 1 to 3 days, I think is.
Or they die in 1 to 3 days because that's their life cycle.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They just die because they can't do anything else. They bone. And then they die.
Oh, yes, but there's a difference between I died of starvation and I died because of old age in 3 days.
Yes, that's fair. All right, these are pretty.
Puts one on an IV.
Except for the fact
to figure out if it will live longer if it has nutrients.
Oh god, I can't even that's also though why people are like, wow, moths, they're so boomfy. A lot of them like in their adult form, or at least there's a few of them.
Yeah, you're like, some of them don't eat. Their whole nutrition for their entire life cycle is
so that really is though just starving to death.
Unless they go through the aging process in that amount of time.
As far as I understand, though, it's mostly about starving to death, based off of the stuff that I recall reading.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it is. I don't think it is just an.
This is a morbid topic of moth death, but it's all right. If you know more about moths and butterflies, you're welcome to chime in.
Feel free. Moths and butterflies are awesome, by the way, and I like the fact that there is a species of butterfly that subsists off of, or at least in part, off of blood.
It does. It does some blood feeding.
Yep. But why didn't you just plant them all in a row?
Where did that come from?
We should have just planted them 1, 2, 1, 2, so we didn't need to keep stepping over stuff.
Oh, instead of going, here, let's plant all of one kind, then all of another kind. That's very smart, Karen.
I'm also like,
Since
I thought it
when?
was silly.
I thought it was silly, too. On the other hand, are they trying to call out the fact that they've been doing order of operations super silly, and they're now nodding to it?
Ah,
Like
we
just
lampshaded
now?
it. It's fine.
Well, I'm not an experienced gardener. Well, whoever made me do it this way is in big trouble. What?
You're literally calling out the writers. And also the designers. That's
Really?
kind of funny, actually.
That is actually a nod to you guys going, yeah, Board of Operations is a mess in this place. We just did a cute little convention and you, the reader, didn't notice. But Karen noticed. And
Yeah.
now Lily noticed. And now she's calling us out. Woo!
All right, well, thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. In the next one, I suppose what we will be doing is either getting caterpillars or placing accent shrubs. So, if you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon if you'd like to support us or sponsor us to actually play a game that you'd like us to review.
Yep.
And thank you very much. We've got links to our Ko-Fi and our Patreon just in the description if you'd like to go check that out. And I have been Scandal.
And I'm just like, what accent will the bushes have? French, Bulgarian, Taiwanese?
Honestly, I could probably, honestly, it would be interesting to see.
It'd be great. All right,
Especially
and,
depending on the locale.
and I have been Liz.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!